Hi, I'm Glenn,
I'm Cheryl.
and this is
Couple
versus
Redwood.
So today,
Today,
what are we reviewing?
we are reviewing Twilight Struggle.
Twilight Struggle.
Yeah. You heard of it?
Yeah, it's like the #1 rated board game on Board Game Geek.
And why are we reviewing it?
It's a good question. It's basically like reviewing like forks and knives. Prior to using a fork, I always had to use my hands. So this is much better.
When I used a knife, I didn't have to rip food with my hands. It was remarkable.
That's amazing.
Right? Honey, why would you review a fork and a knife?
Well, right. I mean, I know, exactly.
One of the reasons is that we like to review games that, one, couples can play, and that, two, we can give a little perspective that maybe comes from a non-gaming world.
The other reason is because that when this comes out, or at least kind of shortly before this comes out, I am going to be on the Dice Tower Showdown. So it's kind of a debate show that Tom Vassell and the Dice Tower Network set up, and the idea of it is that you're going to have kind of some guys talking about either some concept in gaming, or they're going to be talking about this game versus this game, which is better, things along those lines. I am on this week in favor of why Twilight Struggle should be #1 on Board Game Geek. So if you get a chance, you should listen to it. I wouldn't consider myself... sometimes when I do these, we have to do a bit of editing in order to kind of make them work. So I don't know how well I did live. As I remember it, I thought I did okay-ish. But we wanted to go ahead and just talk about why we think this game is awesome. Why we think it's incredible. And why we think couples would really enjoy this, even if you have maybe one gamer between the two of you. What is Twilight Struggle about?
Yeah. So it's set in the Cold War.
Okay.
And it talks about the battle between vampires and werewolves, and how there are good vampires.
That's Twilight. Twilight Struggle is a different thing.
Right, it's about the struggle of Twilight, right?
Oh my gosh. So she got at least half of that right. It is about the Cold War. It isn't about vampires or werewolves.
No?
Though, maybe that would be an interesting expansion. No, Twilight Struggle is about the Cold War, and each player is taking one of the different sides. There's Soviet Russia, so the USSR, and then there's the United States. Is this a difficult game, Cheryl?
No.
No?
It's not difficult at all.
Okay.
It's surprisingly simple.
Yeah. The idea of the game breaks down, one of the probably the biggest aspect of it is you're talking about influence over a particular area. So on every round, you're spending points to basically increase your influence in different countries. Some countries have more significance in the game. They end up scoring you more points, so you really are fighting for those ones more for influence over those particular countries. But all of them have reasons and strategic reasons why you might want to grab those.
Right.
That while there are several things you can do on a turn, most of the time it really is a question of how am I going to increase my influence or decrease the other person's influence.
Right.
So when it comes down to am I going to do a coup? Am I going to do a realignment? Am I going to add influence in a country? It might sound initially like it's a lot, but it actually really is just saying what methods am I going to use in order to increase my influence or decrease their influence? Or both. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this game is what they call a card-driven strategy game. That's kind of the genre that it sits in.
Of course.
When they say card-driven, strategy game. What does that mean?
Well, your play is based on what cards you have and how you play them.
Okay.
There are cards that benefit both the US and the USSR, either one, depending on who controls it.
Okay.
There are cards that benefit only the USA.
Okay.
And cards that benefit only the USSR.
Okay.
So in your hand, you usually have at least one of each kind.
Okay.
And multiples of, or whatever.
Yeah.
And on your turn, you choose one of the cards to play.
Okay.
And you can use it for either its event or for its point value. So they all have a point value.
Yeah.
If I have a USSR card in my hand and I'm the USA, if I play that, the event occurs. So that means it's benefiting the USSR and it benefits me because I get the points.
So like in a sense, it's like you're playing a card for the other side. So you get the points for it, meaning you get to kind of do whatever operations you're hoping to do. But you also, in effect, are playing the event for the other side. So it's like you played a card for them. And you're sitting there weighing, like, how do I play this card? How do I use this? And how do I minimize the effect that it's going to help the other person with? So it's huge. It's crazy in that sense.
But there are particular cards that are really, really critical that you could play. So one of those cards is a scoring card.
The idea, there are these, scoring cards, which basically say that look in this particular region, usually a continent or a particular section of the map, look and see who has, in effect, the most countries in that area.
The greatest influence.
So there are certain countries, usually called battleground countries, which have a certain amount of influence or significance, rather. Whoever has the most of them, when you play one of these cards, you add it all up, see what everyone looks like, and then score that area. And each of them tends to be worth a certain amount of points. I love this game. I think it's fantastic. I think that it is a simple game. And I think I like complex games, and I like games where there's a lot of things going on. But I also think there's something very elegant and something very beautiful about a game that can boil something incredibly complex, like the politics of the Cold War, down into something as simple as I have more influence, you have more influence. These places are important. These places are less important. One person has majority control over this continent or this region. This person doesn't.
I really appreciate that it's not super complex in the mechanics of the game.
Okay.
That you can learn it quickly.
Yeah.
That helps me feel more capable.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that, for me, as I've discussed, is one of the initially off-putting things for me about playing like hard game is I like to be good at stuff.
Yeah.
And so to be able to know and have a grasp of what I'm doing pretty quickly helps me be more excited about the game in the early stages of playing. So you can grasp what it's about early on, but no matter how many times you play it, the game is different. And you can do something different to win. So there's a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
Also, I think that it has a really good balance of theme and mechanics. So someone who's really into the Cold War or history would love the game just because it has a strong enough theme that comes through. But someone who could care less about history but really likes playing great games would love it just for the mechanics of the game.
Sure.
So I think that is a really cool thing about this game is that it can appeal to a broader audience because it can appeal to both sides, and it can appeal to the theme, it can appeal to the game mechanics, it appeals to people who like complex strategic games, but also to people who like something a little bit cleaner, simpler.
Yeah.
So,
well said.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
That's why I like it. Bottom line is, it's a great game when you have a couple hours, 2-3 hours, that you want to play something with another person.
Yeah.
and you have some room in your head to like think strategically.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Lots of replay value.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great addition to our game shelf.
Yeah. If you have someone you can play 2-player games with, because that can be a hard thing, especially if you go to game nights or if you do things like that. But if you have someone like a spouse or a good friend that you can play a good long game with, this is an amazing addition to your game shelf, and I think would be totally worth it. It's growing dark. We should go.
Good night.
Good night, or whatever time of day it is for you. Goodbye. See you next time. It's getting really dramatic with the lighting.
I know. I was trying to like wrap it up fast.
It's okay. We're losing the sunlight. It's turning into like a thing of Twilight. Because we're losing the light. She emerges from the shadows. She was... I don't know what the character from Twilight's name is. What is his name? Reginald or something like that?